Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Acts of Geekery, Episode 1. I'm Corey Avis.
And I'm Scott Avis.
And we're here to talk to you about what's going on in the world of geek and pop culture. This is a podcast that we're going to be doing, hopefully for a long time now, dedicated to the love of all things comic book, movie, anything to do with pop culture, TV shows, pretty much, well, video games if we can get around to it.
Pretty much anything that you geeks can sink your teeth into, and anything that we just absolutely love, we want to share it with everyone.
Please don't eat your comics, though. That we're not advertising that you eat your comics.
Unless you have no money for food because you've spent it all on comics, then you should probably eat something.
I would recommend Chew if you're looking for a good comic to eat.
that works.
Yeah,
that fits.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a little weird reading it while you're eating it, though. You might lose your appetite.
Well, you'll get two different forms of what the artist wanted. What you get on the page and what you get in your stomach.
And if you're bulimic, what you see on the page again.
Yeah, and that would be more like a postmodern art thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We're how many seconds in? We haven't done a fart joke yet. We're doing good.
All right.
We'll
get it out of the way, I'm sure, somewhere.
So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things today, but I think we should start off by bringing in the news that we've heard this week.
All right. Kick it off.
So I don't know if any of you know. If not, this is good because this is the news segment. But Nathan Fillion is supposed to be having a cameo. It's confirmed by the director, James Gunn, for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm super excited for this.
Now, a lot of people are thinking he's going to be playing Nova. But I found a little rumor on Geek Tyrant that they found on a website called...
So not a Nova. He's not playing a space cop.
This is just a rumor.
Okay.
But what they think is that he's playing Cosmo, the space dog.
Oh my gosh. That would be awesome. They go to nowhere. They go to the head of the Celestial.
Yep, which you can actually see in the trailer if you're watching them. It's on this kind of cool nebula background, and you see the big floating head.
And for those of you not familiar with Cosmo, he is the first dog sent into space from the Russians. And he is Russian, talks with a Russian accent. Well, he doesn't talk, but he has telekinesis or telepathy, and he can talk inside of your head. And, he's a Russian, which wow. I'm still digesting this, but this is awesome. I think that is way cool, way fun.
I think if they do it, they probably shouldn't do the full-on head cone that he wears in the comics.
I don't know, maybe.
The cone of shame. I mean, I guess it could work.
I don't know why he would be ashamed of anything. He's a freaking space dog that can read minds and talk to you through your mind.
Now, my first reaction for this was, why would you want to put a talking dog in your movie? But then I remembered this is a movie with a talking raccoon in it.
Maybe they can have a nice bit of dialogue.
Yes.
We'll have Nathan Fillion talking with Bradley Cooper
now
about bombs or...
In the comics, Rocket hates Cosmo. Like, he doesn't like talking pets, is what he says. And that's part of the comic clip that they show when they were announcing it.
That'll be the stick, and that'll be the, I'm a talking dog. I'm a talking raccoon, but I hate talking dogs.
Well, raccoons would hate dogs in any case.
That's true.
So,
they are mortal enemies in real life.
Exactly.
So I completely agree.
All right, Scott, what do you got for us today?
All right. Well, some things came out this week that I'm super excited for. WB leaked their movie lineup.
Whoa.
On this.
That's huge.
Yes. And so they gave us everything from the 2015s on to 2017, I believe, is that? And they are planning on doing about 3 movies a year.
Here I am talking about a talking dog, and you got this in your pocket. Why didn't you start us off?
Well, I have to one-up you.
Oh, right.
Trump card,
Oh,
you know.
Okay, then.
Coming out in May of 2016 is Batman v Superman, the Dawn of Justice.
The dawn of the court case, as I like to call it.
Batman versus Superman. How dare you steal all my money?
Batman versus Superman versus Roe versus Wade.
Who represents him? Is it Harvey Birdman, attorney at law?
Well, it was going to be Harvey Dent, but Batman kind of put the kibosh on that.
Maybe they'll get Matt Murdock or something. They'll pull him in.
We'll talk about that later.
Coming up next, they've got in the same year a Shazam movie.
Wait, in the same year?
In the same year,
like so
it'll be another summer movie. So they've got
that's really close together.
Yes. Probably in June, July, maybe August at the latest, but most likely June or July.
So they're going with the Marvel model.
They're going to try
2 movies a year.
They're going to try. The cool thing about them putting out 3 movies a year is the simple fact that because they're doing that, say if Batman versus Superman does not work out, they still have 2 more in the pipe, and they'll already be done with them.
Okay.
They'll just be doing their final cuts, final editing, and it'd be really stupid for them to just shelve them, to just get rid of them.
I don't know. It feels weird, and it feels like they're kind of rushing it to play catch up.
It's possible. I'm sure that's their whole point is, wow, look at Marvel, look what they've done. We've got to do something to be competitive in the market. Otherwise, we're going to get crushed. They're already being crushed. Marvel has, 6, 7 movies under their belt already?
Yeah, something like that.
And they just keep getting better and better and making more and more money. So WB wants to get in on this cash cow, and what better way to do that than to start pumping out movies as fast as possible?
Now, I kind of buried the actual movie title for the second movie coming out, Shazam.
Shazam.
Okay.
Yes. If you're not familiar with Shazam, he is the champion of magic for DC. He is the wizard Shazam, picks a champion every so many centuries or whatever and grants him power. Each one of his letters stands for something, like the strength of Hercules, the heroics of so-and-so, and so on and so forth.
I thought it was like Socrates, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus.
Yeah, and there's
Achilles.
Like the wisdom of Zeus, the speed of, whatever. And yeah. And so he gets all these different powers, which basically he's Superman analog. He came from a different comics company that lost rights to him.
I didn't know that.
And rather than just letting go of him forever, DC decided, well, hey, we can put him into our comics lineup. We can put him into our universe, and Superman will have another character that can stand up to him because, for a while there he was pretty much boss and no one else could touch him at all.
Now, the other cool thing about Shazam is that he is a kid. He's a 13-year-old boy.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes he's 10. Sometimes 10, between 10 and 15 is usually where they put him.
I think for this movie, they're probably going to go as old as they can.
Probably. He'll be
like 15 in
right
the first
before
movie.
he can drive or something like that.
Yeah.
He's an orphan. He's kind of a bad kid.
Oh, kind of
Not
like
necessarily a good
kind of like every
kid.
other character in the DC universe. He's an orphan.
Yes, and I don't know if his parents were killed in an alley or anything. It's kind of the going thing right now.
Well, it's alley, or by a tornado, or your entire planet blew up.
Yeah, that's true, and we know the planet didn't blow up because he's human. So I mean, we can rule that one out. So we're left with tornado or alley. Maybe there was a tornado in an alley that killed his parents.
So the other cool thing to kind of take away from DC is they've had a lot of talks recently with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Yes.
And a lot of people speculated that he was going to be Lobo, this kind of mercenary, but I don't see Lobo making his own movie.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Lobo would be a throw-in to another Superman movie, I'd imagine.
Or what if he's the villain in Batman v Superman? Lex Luthor hires another alien to kill Superman.
Hires a mercenary alien to kill Superman. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But he's probably going to be Black Adam. Black Adam is basically Shazam from another time, from the past. He still has the same powers. However, he's got a different suit. Shazam's got a red suit with a yellow lightning bolt in the center, which is kind of like the Flash, but whatever. It's bigger. It's a bigger lightning bolt. You know, he's got a bigger lightning bolt.
That's the size that counts in the DC universe.
Right.
So.
And so Black Adam is pretty much his arch nemesis. Black Adam wants to protect his home world, his home city. I can't remember what it's
Kandak.
Kandak. Yes, exactly.
NASDAQ.
Yeah, he's on the stock exchange.
Yeah, he wants to protect the stock exchange. A hero America can root for.
But he's from a time where in order to rule the people, you became a tyrant, you became a you became a master of them, you controlled them, you enslaved them, etc. So of course, Shazam, the wizard, decides there needs to be someone to stop him. And that was kind of one of the main storylines. Was there needs to be someone to stop him? So I'm going to give Billy Batson, who's really a good kid at heart, but he's kind of bad. He does stuff. He's a juvenile, etc. And it gives him these powers. He yells out Shazam and transforms into a full-grown adult human male with superpowers.
Now, is the Billy Batson who is a bad kid a recent addition to the comics with the New 52? Because I think he used to be just kind of like a normal, upstanding citizen.
Yeah, probably back in the 60s and 70s when he was first initially brought into the comics world. He was probably a good kid. They kind of all were that way.
Yeah.
They didn't do this whole dark and gritty stuff until recently. That's just more of a recent thing.
I think having a character that is like a delinquent, but ends up becoming the most like pure of heart of all of us is a better storyline than that upstart kid that's gonna save the day.
And I could be wrong, but I believe that in some of the comics, in order to be Shazam, it's not just him, it's him and all the other orphans that are in this halfway house or in this adopted house. They all have to be Shazam together. And so when they get kicked out of Shazam, they get broken up into all 5 or 6 of them. There's like a cripple and a nerd and a fat kid and pretty much all the stereotypes, and there's like a little Asian kid or something and
Short
the
round.
older girl. Yeah, it's basically the Goonies and they turn into Shazam.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving along here.
Okay, so that's Shazam. After that, there is going to be in December, in the holiday season around December.
3 a year. It scares me so bad.
It's true, and I'm hopefully no one gets overloaded.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get overloaded with comic book movies.
You're going to be having those 3 a year plus your regular 2 Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And if Marvel decides to kick it up,
plus however many TV shows, which we'll get to in a little bit.
And you've got Fox with their own movies. You've got Sony wanting to do their own movies. We could be having upwards of 8
to 10
movies a year.
Yeah, that's a lot. For me, I'm okay with that.
So am I, but it seems like
because if
it would oversaturate.
Well, think about it. If we didn't have superhero movies, what would we have? Just another action flick.
It's true.
Just another protect the president in the White House flick. Why can't we do that, but with Captain America? I mean, there's no reason to not combine them. I mean, you kind of have a double dose. You get a good action movie plus a superhero movie. You get a good drama plus a superhero movie. You get a good comedy plus a superhero movie. So,
get off my plane, Baron Zemo.
Yes.
All right, so December.
So the last one is Sandman. Sandman was originally written in comic form by Neil Gaiman.
Well, not originally, but like the really popular
one. Yeah, not originally. The really popular one is written by Neil Gaiman, and they're adapting that, and it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt as, I think his name's Morpheus. I haven't read it yet. It's on my list, but it's really expensive, so I haven't picked it up just yet. It's always like $90 for it, for the paperback.
Jeez. Yeah, I think I've read the first comic of it, and I believe his name is Morpheus or something along those lines. He's basically the master of dreams.
Yes.
And he gets captured.
Yes, and he's been in some kind of like coma or captured state for decades.
And a bunch of people have fallen asleep and not woken up for that long too.
Yes, and he gets up and he has to go into this world that is totally different from what he left. Completely different.
Yeah.
This is not, from what I read, and this is all rumor and hearsay, of course. From what I've read, it's going to be there, it's on their list, but the rumor part is it may or may not be in the continuity of the rest of the things, because Sandman doesn't really interact with the rest of the DC characters.
Yeah. Now,
kind of a standalone thing.
There is another Sandman in that series, though. The actual, like the superhero Sandman who runs around with a gun that puts people to sleep.
Okay.
And like he's part of
either
all
that
this.
Or spray sand at him.
Yeah. I'm the
Oh,
Sandman.
my eyes.
Why did you put sand there?
Why would you make a bullet out of sand? It just doesn't really do anything, just stings.
And I think he's going to be part of it too, so they can throw that Sandman into the regular DC continuity.
Possible.
Which I think that this is going to be the side of DC to watch, the Shazam and Sandman side, where it's the magic. Because we saw how Marvel did magic with Thor, where it's just technology we don't understand, the kind of magic you
aliens.
like.
Yeah.
But I think that if DC goes full on, nope, it's magic. There's magic in the world. Here's
Full
how,
magic.
yeah, full magic.
Yeah.
We could see some really cool and unique stuff coming out of DC, which they need to have uniqueness, not just, oh, we're following the Marvel model with Justice League.
And Marvel's got their magic users. They've got Doctor Strange. They've got all these different, magic users. But DC has significantly more. It has Dr. Fate. It's got Sandman. It's got Zatanna, Zatara, Constantine's in that universe. Not Dr. Frankenstein, but Frankenstein, his monster, is a character. And there's Deadman. There's a whole bunch of other ones.
Solomon Grundy
he's magic.
Is a magic character.
Yep.
In fact, I believe this is in the animated series. I'm not sure if it's in the regular continuity, but I believe Thanagarian metal, Nth metal, that Hawkman and Hawkgirl have,
magic?
that it actually disrupts magic.
So I get it. Kind of like how Iron disrupts ghosts in most, like Supernatural, the TV show, and
or Cold Iron disrupts fairies or fae.
Yeah, it burns them.
In D&D.
yeah, that'd work too.
Yeah, I have to say D&D every couple of minutes. Just it's in my contract.
Which, that's a great segue as far as magic goes. Watching magic in DC, because that leads me into next year after that. So 2017.
Okay.
Then we get Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
They've got a Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's origins are magic. She was created by the gods, by the Greek gods from Olympus, and life was breathed into her, and she was
kind of the classic way that Greek mythology says it, where a god is sprung from Zeus's head, not just born.
Yep.
Not like in the Disney cartoon where they actually had Hercules as a baby.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a lot of, she's pretty much just formed out of clay. Life's breathed into her, and boom, she's there. She's got her power. She's already full grown, technically. She's got all the wisdom of the different, Greek gods. Yeah. And she's on an island called Themyscira. That's how I've always heard it said. Pardon me if I butcher that, but with a whole bunch of Amazons.
Now,
bunch of Amazon women.
I have some news about Wonder Woman, at least for Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice. Do you want me to go into that now, or do you want to finish up your list?
No, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that.
So I found another article about Wonder Woman on her costume, her weapons, and her appearance in Batman vs. Superman.
I'm interested. Go on.
So there was a lot of reports that Wonder Woman was going to be wearing her biker outfit, her jacket, her black jacket,
the leather jacket. I enjoyed that in the comics.
They said that's completely false, though.
Oh.
The description of the outfit from the source that I have, Wonder Woman was ripped right from the comics and has a traditional yet sleeker costume that's battle ready. She has a blue leather skirt, which we've seen in comics before. It's that kind of Roman leather with like the different strips that make up the full thing, and looks really cool for an Amazon to be wearing.
They're all linked together. Got it.
Silver armored cuffs that reach her elbows.
Okay, so it protects her forearms.
Yeah, it's not just
her magic, pew pew. I'm gonna block all the bullets thing.
Wonder Woman. She's got her golden tiara, of course,
the one she can throw like a boomerang. I wonder if they'll do that in the movie. At one point, they'll pull it off the head.
I doubt it.
See if it hits something and bounces back. Hey, they do Captain America's shield. It's kind of the same thing. He just doesn't wear it on his head.
We'll get to shields in just a moment here.
Okay.
And she has a variation on the traditional looking red top. No word for additional armor on it or anything like that.
Okay.
So her overall appearance is described as an Amazon warrior princess, definitely not an urban reimagining. She's there to kick ass, and that's readily apparent. Word is that WB is getting a very positive response for appearance to those they've shown it to as well. So we got some great things. On Wonder Woman's weapon, she's not just using her lasso. She has no fewer than 4 weapons. A sword, a spear, her lasso, and a shield. Which they describe here as she will wear the shield on her back, Captain America style, when not in use. So if she throws the shield at least once, it's going to create like a little bit of a geek freak out. Just to be able to see like, oh my gosh, she did the Captain America. Now,
and better, mind you. She's way more coordinated and way stronger.
No, sorry.
Oh,
Well,
it's not magic.
I will
won't
give you
bounce anywhere.
stronger. I will give you stronger, but I don't think she's. I think Captain America has had so much training with that shield that when it came to a shield discus throwing contest, I think he could do better when it came to hitting a bunch of different things.
Okay. Well, that's up for debate for another time.
Yeah, of course. The last thing was about her screen time. They said that her character will be introduced as Diana initially before we ever see her as Wonder Woman. She'll have a fair amount of screen time and will team up with Batman and Superman for the final battle against an unnamed villain who may be working or controlled by Lex Luthor. So we're not just getting a Wonder Woman cameo in this movie. We're getting
Actually,
the big three in this movie.
Ooh. Okay. That's exciting. That is very exciting news. Was that one of the ones you wouldn't tell me?
Yes. And the other one was Cosmo. So.
Good job.
And then they have a little bit on Batman's Batcave, but it's really nothing other than, hey, he's got a Batcave with a Batwing in it.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. Whoa.
I know.
Batman has a Batcave?
It's weird.
Why
And
not
it's got
just a regular cave?
It's got a
full of
Batwing.
bats?
It's got a Batmobile. It's got Batarangs.
Has a bat cowl.
No, there's no cows.
Does he have bat underwear? Probably does. He probably has bat boxers. He probably
On the
has little bats
outside?
all over him.
A lot of people forget that Batman used to wear his underwear on the outside too.
This is true. This is
And
true.
like everybody is always
But it
like,
was only-
oh, Superman always wears his underwear on the
It was
outside.
only it was blue on top of gray, so it wasn't as noticeable as red on blue like
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody always complains about how Superman looks so weird without it, but it's like, you don't complain about Batman. Batman's had the same thing going for him. He was just as lame when it came to his costume, and we're going to get a lot of flack for me calling Batman lame at all. So send your emails to axofgeekery@gmail.com.
And that's ACTS, not axe like a weapon you would wield. Speaking of weapons, Wonder Woman in the New 52 does wield swords. They're magic, and they are created by Hephaestus, which is the smith of the gods. He's the one that creates all the lightning bolts for Zeus in mythology.
Which is a job that you really never run out of work
That's
for.
true. Yeah, I mean he's always going to need to electrocute something.
Yeah.
And
He's a vengeful god, but he is our god.
and so she actually summons them from her bracers. They pretty much go into her bracers and kind of like collapse into them.
Which
and she's got two of them.
That would be really cool to
I've
see
seen
in the
her
comics.
use a shield and sword all the time, especially when she goes and puts on her regular Amazonian garb. She goes out and fights stuff and fights minions and things like that.
I know one person who'll be extremely happy if she uses a shield and spear. He's probably listening. He just loves anything that has to do with spears or reach weapons.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. He loves that. It's a threatening reach, by the way. She can hit two spaces away from her.
And as things are moving towards her. And for our other listener, hi mom. We've got two.
Hello, mother.
Continue with your list. That's all I got for that.
So after Wonder Woman, which will be probably a May blockbuster, they actually have it. They have one other thing that I want to jump back to a little bit out of order. Batman v Superman is on May 6th. That is the same day that Marvel has Captain America 3 for.
Wait, what?
So right now, it's a game of chicken. Who's going to move first?
DC.
You think so? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they
Marvel.
want to just. Maybe they just want to be the biggest, badasses on the field and go for it.
Well, on one hand, you've got Warner Brothers, who owns Warner Brothers. And on the other hand, you've got Marvel, owned by Disney, who owns pretty much everything at this point. And you want to go up against them? I'm going to say that with their established universe and their established, everybody's all together.
You're right. DC will probably move, but it would be fun to see who, because it'll get closer and closer and closer, and pretty soon one of them will just be like, I'm too chicken to stay, so we're going to move. Maybe Marvel will be nice and be like, yeah, we'll move to a couple weeks away, because they're going to make money either way.
Exactly.
Either way.
And here's the thing is, DC, Marvel, if you're listening, which you're not, but if you're listening, please don't do it on the same day. You're going to lose if you do. There's going to be some kids movie that's going to beat you both because you divided your audience.
This is probably true.
Yeah.
Or another Grown Ups 3 or something that'll make more money. Anyways, back to my list. So we're in 2017. In May, we've got Wonder Woman. Coming in June or July, Justice League.
Justice League.
And it will be and I could be wrong. If I'm totally wrong on this list, I don't have it right in front of me. but from remembering off the top of my head, Justice League is the next one, and they're doing that. And they're going to have the big, big three, of course. You're going to have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They're going to introduce Cyborg into it.
Okay, good.
They are going to introduce Aquaman,
Mm-hmm.
and there's all those rumors floating around about Jason Momoa playing
I think
Aquaman.
it's confirmed at this point, actually.
I don't know. He hasn't said anything. He keeps saying, "Don't ask me. I'm tired of answering. I don't know, or I don't think so, or whatever."
And then he's going to get mad at you and cut off your nipple.
Or rip out your heart and eat it. I mean, that's kind of what he does.
And pour a pot of metal over your head. Spoilers. Sorry if anybody has not listened to that or seen that part.
Oh,
and
it's
if you
season 2.
haven't,
It's way back.
season 1.
It's season 1. It's way back there. If they haven't watched it by now, they fail.
And if you haven't watched it, you probably don't know what we're talking about anyway.
This
so
is true. Anyways, we
enjoy.
won't even say the name Game of Thrones. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then after that, after we've got this big blockbuster, I think they're going to introduce Flash and Green Lantern as well in this Justice League movie. However,
you said Cyborg too, right?
Cyborg will be in it. Yes, he will be introduced. I don't know which Green Lantern. A lot of people speculate they're going to do Jon Stewart, because if they do Hal Jordan again, they think that a lot of people are going to go, "Hey, why didn't you just get Ryan Reynolds to do it again?"
Well, because he's too busy getting ready for his Deadpool role. Right?
You can only hope. Keep crossing your fingers, because that may or may not happen for a long time. Just go. You know what? Go call Fox. Call him right now and say, "Hey, Deadpool. I said it's okay to do it, and maybe they'll do it for you."
All right, we'll put a little edit mark here for when I come back. They said no.
All right, so we've got, and there's not really anything about that. It's going to be a worldwide threat, so it'll be probably from outside Earth, most likely. It's going to be, a dark side, a war world, I
think Warworld is the better choice.
think so.
Having it be dark side means that everybody, it's the same thing as the Avengers. There's a big threat. He brings an alien invasion. The Justice League forms to fight him off. But if they bring in something like Warworld, where all of these different heroes come together to fight in this giant planetary arena, and they realize, hey, we should, and they say, we have to form together, or else he's going to destroy our planet. Like, okay, so let's say that Mongol is going to destroy whatever planet loses, and they say, well, we can't let our planet lose. We have to be Earth's defenders.
Of course, and they
Yeah.
put aside their differences, because Wonder Woman's
At first, Superman's like, well, they can't destroy my world.
mine's already dead. Oh, emo face.
And then Batman's like, hey, that's my stick.
He's like, hey, I can do emo face better. My parents are dead.
Yeah, like the first shot we got of the new Batman, of Ben Affleck as
He's
Batman.
looking down.
He's looking down, all emo face.
He's probably in Crime Alley right there in that scene.
That's true. Okay, now I feel bad for making fun of it.
So we've got Justice League. We don't know anything more about it other than they're going to have big three. We've heard that Cyborg is going to be in there, and they're going to introduce Aquaman. They'll probably bring in Flash and Green Lantern. Whether or not they'll have big roles, we don't know. Another thing, Aquaman is supposed to be in Man of Steel 2.
Oh, the Dawn.
Not
Dawn
Man
of
of Steel,
Justice.
Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman, because when the World Engine went off in Man of Steel, it did a lot of damage to the Indian Ocean. And, Aquaman is really pissed off.
He's a hippie about those oceans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's where you live. I'd be pretty mad, too, if a World Engine came and started destroying my town. But, so he's going to be mad, and we don't know what capacity they'll have him in.
Yeah. UN representative.
The last on that list, of course, is Man of Steel 2.
Okay.
And, no, I'm sorry. I lied. That is going to be the year after. We are going to have
Justice League, Man of Steel 2.
No. For 2017, or 2017. 2017, they're going to have their first one for that year's Wonder Woman. You already forgot about it. You already forgot about Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So
Everyone always forgets about Wonder Woman.
Well, that's why she'll never be in good movies, because they can't make a movie that people remember.
Just wait for Marvel. Just wait for Marvel to push up something like Captain Marvel or Black Widow movie and have a full-on heroine which it's kind of already being done with Lucy coming out soon.
Yeah.
That's going to be it's
Good
basically
test
Black
of-
Widow, but with superpowers. 'Cause-
Ultimate cosmic power.
yeah. So you got Wonder Woman, you've got Justice League coming out. Then at the end of the year, in December, we've got, and I think you'll probably like this more than I would like it, but it's still awesome, a Flash Green Lantern team-up movie.
Ooh, buddy cop.
They're already best friends in the comic book. In the comics, they always pal around, they hang out, they talk. But that's Hal Jordan and Flash. That's not necessarily, Stewart.
Now, here's the thing, though. Flash is an established forensic scientist. Like, that is his shtick in in normal life. His alter ego is a forensics analysis.
Yes.
So having a Green Lantern Flash movie, it's whatever Green Lantern we get coming down and saying, hey, I need your help. There's a problem on this planet and I can't solve it. I need a forensics guy. You're the only one that I can think of that
It's
would
going to
help.
be cops in space.
Yeah, I told you, buddy cop movie in space. It's going to be great.
It better be great. Come on, DC. I'm begging you. And Warner Brothers, I'm begging you. You can do animated movies. Fantastic. If you guys haven't seen any of the DC animated movies, pause right now. Not really.
Yeah, just
keep going. But after this is over, you need to go out and get DC animated movies and just watch as many as you can get your hands on.
If you can, if you only have a couple of bucks for a couple movies, I would recommend Justice League Doom.
That was a great one.
I would recommend Crisis on Two Earths.
That one is also a very good one.
And I would recommend, if you're looking for a new 52, I'd recommend Justice League War. Like, if you just want like a sampling of the great DC universe, those are your three. The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 is also
That was
very
pretty good. The one thing that DC animated that kind of throws some people off, I've found, talking to them out in the world, is they change their animation style all the time. So they get new animators and it changes. It goes from, more 1950s animation, 1960s animation to, like early 90s animation, like cartoons, like the Superman cartoon, the Batman animated series, that kind of stuff. And then it shifts even further, like they call it like American anime, where it's anime style, but it's more Americanized.
Yeah.
It's less goofy and just more like hard lines, really pointy jaws, that kind of stuff.
You see the anime without
still
the
good.
kind of
It works.
goofiness that is anime.
It works.
Yeah.
So DC animated, Warner Brothers can do that. You guys can do this. All you got to do is just take those animated movies and turn them into live action. Just take what you would normally do for an animated movie and just put live action into it.
Kevin Conroy is Batman.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
Pretty,
The
he's
voice.
pretty skinny.
They could always just dub over Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that's true. They did that with Arnold in like his first movie. They thought he was too Austrian. So they dubbed over his
Too
voice
Arnold.
with something. Arnold. All right. So what else we got after?
And then after that,
it's Man
then the
of Steel
next
2.
year will be May, and it'll be Man of Steel 2.
And when that's as far as we've gotten up
That's
to.
as far as we've known. Keep in mind, this is all still rumor and conjecture. We haven't been confirmed on any of this. Warner Brothers hasn't come out and said this is possible. A lot of people think that this was leaked before. That was going to be their DC, their Comic-Con announcement, their big announcement for Comic-Con. So unless, and there's a lot of conspiracy theory, about these kind of things.
There always is.
Maybe they did it on purpose. They leaked it already. And so then when Comic-Con rolls around, they can show a clip from the new Batman v Superman
or they can
something
show
like
footage
that.
from all of them.
Or
Like,
something. They might
you
have
think
like
that you know us and you think you're gonna be so unimpressed. Well, surprise!
surprise, we've been working on these for 2 years now. Probably not true, but
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Turns out Superman and Wonder Woman have a baby. It's gonna be Man of Steel 2 is the real world.
Oh jeez. The Real Housewives of DC.
So, is there any other news you have? Because you have a list of the movies from DC that's coming out. I have a list of TV shows coming out a little bit sooner than that, if we want to get into that.
Which, to be honest, I'm kind of more excited for the simple fact that they are right around the corner.
And I think there's a lot that you can do with TV that you can't do with movies. But
have-
there's a
I
lot
have
that you
one-
can do with movies that you can't do with TV.
I have one last movie-related, superhero movie-related announcement.
Go ahead.
Guardians of the Galaxy is Yes, woohoo! We are super excited for it. I personally have never been more excited for a movie. I have even Avengers. I am more excited for Guardians of the Galaxy than I am for Avengers. Some people will call me crazy for that, but I will go ahead and and say that I am super stoked for Guardians of the Galaxy. I've loved the comic books. I love the team makeup. I love it's in space. That kind of stuff just appeals to me, to my inner geek. The other thing is, it's going to be in 3D, pretty much like everything is nowadays.
Yeah, that's the gimmick.
And there's two different types of 3D. There's your 3D that's being filmed as the movie's being filmed, and there's post-production 3D. Technology's gotten good enough to the point where post-production 3D is not
as bad as it was.
It's not bad. If you do it right and you take your time on it, and you make all the shots look good, and you do, they have this thing called, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but something like camera shifting or screen shifting. It basically changes the ratio of the screen while you're watching the show. So you go from like 16:9 to 16:10 ratio.
Okay.
And the letterbox stuff appears and disappears.
So it's kind of what they do, like
big wide shots.
I think Dark Knight was an example they used, where when you have the city shots, you go to the bigger ratio so you can see more of the city and more of the landscape.
And then when it goes into like, Bruce Wayne's mansion or into his bat cave, it kind of like letterboxes.
Wait, Batman has a bat cave?
Yes, we went over this already.
Right, sorry.
Come on. All right. Anyways, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy,
Mr. James Gunn, director of such great movies as Super and Slither.
I've not seen Slither, but I love Super, so I'm okay with this.
It's such a B movie. And if you want to see something on YouTube with him, go look up the real life pornos. I would recommend the Nathan Fillion and Eva Longoria. Is it? No,
it's some porn actress, but they get in there and it's it's the same situation of
I can't pay for my drywalling.
I can't pay for this, and there ends up. And there's no actual nudity or anything in it. It's
on YouTube, guys.
The description is something like, for those of you that love the plot and the story of porn, and then all that nasty sex gets in the way. It's hilarious. So Nathan Fillion has a cameo, and it is fantastic. There's just short web series. There's about 4 or 5 of them.
Nathan Fillion is in everything.
He needs to be. I'm okay with that. So the director, James Gunn, came out and said, I want everyone to go to IMAX 3D.
Because I want more money.
No, not necessarily. It will be more money, obviously, because it's more for a ticket. Yeah. But he said he is going through in post-editing, and he is going over each and every scene with the 3D converters, the people that do the conversions, and trying to figure out exactly how to do the 3D the best way. He says that I don't want it to be just a gimmick. I want it to be a fully immersive experience. So, I usually don't go to 3D movies.
No, the only one that we've ever been to in IMAX is The Hobbit.
Yes.
And that's because it came with a...
9 minutes of Star Trek. We can say that. I'm a huge Trekkie, so I went. 9 minutes of Star Trek? Yeah, I'm going to that. I don't care if it's extra.
And to be honest, I really enjoyed the IMAX experience that I had with The Hobbit. It's so much money, and where we live, there's nothing really close by.
Yeah, it's about
30 minutes away or so.
15, 20 miles away. So it's not super close, but I'm willing to go for this. I'm super excited. He's going to go post-process. They're going to do that panel, the shifting thing where it changes the view and aspect ratios. And I think everything is going to look fantastic. And I'm really crossing my fingers. It's going to be great. And then we'll have to decide afterwards whether or not we want to go see it in 2D again. Just to see the difference.
We'll probably see it anyway in 2D.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Now, I lied. I have seen one other movie in IMAX. Not 3D, just IMAX. And that was up in Yellowstone when I went. We watched like their movie on canyons, that they have there, and
3D geyser exploding into your face.
Well, like I said, it wasn't 3D; it was just the IMAX.
It's like the water's right there.
Oh wait, it's right over there. I actually enjoyed that IMAX experience with the sprawling landscapes and everything, and imagining
cool.
that in space gets me super excited to go see it in IMAX.
Yes. So. That was one thing that I'm stoked for. If he does it the right way, you'll have the big full IMAX screen for the big space shots, the big space battles, the ships hitting each other, blowing up.
I'm
know.
so excited.
And then when they get more on the ship, boom, you got the more letterboxing. It kind of focuses you in on those characters and what they're currently doing.
Yep.
And then they go and look out the window, and they all have their mouth open, like what's his name in Godzilla, Ken Watanabe.
And then it quickly flashes on the screen. Put on your 3D glasses now.
Well, you'll wear them the whole time. Yeah. Because it's not like old 3D where it's red and blue.
Yeah.
It's just kind of makes everything dimmer. But it's supposed to be nice and bright. Everything James Gunn said he's really excited for it, and he hopes it'll be one of the best 3D conversions that's ever been done. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited for that. I'm going to go see it and see how that is.
Now, I do have one other short news story before we move on. There's going to be a new Predator movie coming out.
Really?
Like, not that they first originally said it's going to be a reboot, which is weird because we just had a reboot.
Yeah.
But then, so it's going to be written and directed, or co-written and directed by Shane Black, who you may know as the director of Iron Man 3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
I think it's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I may have just lost a geek card there. I don't know. Send me an email. ACTS of Geekery at gmail.com. So he says it's going to be a sequel. And to quote him, what he said is, as far as Fred, who I'm assuming is one of his co-writers, and I are concerned, why start over when you've got all this rich mythology to mine? So we might not see the usual Predator movie of, I'm a hunter coming down to kill humans, and it's this monster movie. We might actually see some Predator mythos coming into play.
Maybe we can go to the Predator planet.
Ooh.
And we see
maybe the humans go there to try and hunt the Predator.
Well, that would be kind of interesting, actually. We're tired of them coming and attacking us, so let's go get them where they live, and they fly a bunch of ships out there. And
oh my gosh, that's a bad idea. Because they're sore losers.
They are very sore losers. Yeah. They'd rather nuke their whole planet than lose.
They will blow up their planet, and then the shrapnel is going to fly out and hit Krypton and destroy it, and that's where Man of Steel comes from.
Oh my gosh, we tied it all together.
Yep. All movies. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Still go see it.
Oh yeah. Maybe not in theaters for me. I'm usually more of with those type of movies, I'm usually more of a as it comes to DVD kind of guy.
Well, the one that came out, Predators, was actually not bad. It wasn't the greatest movie out there, but it was still pretty decent. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually.
I wasn't expecting the twist as much as you were.
Yeah.
I was kind of just like, what?
It's been a while since I've seen it, too. We might have to go rewatch that at one point in time.
Damn you, Eric Foreman. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into our topic of the week.
Okay.
This is just every week we're gonna pick a topic in geek culture to talk about, whether it's or some weeks, I'm not sure if it's every week or not. We might end up running long on the news portion and not be able to do one.
It's okay.
Yeah. So this week we're going to be talking about all the TV shows coming out this fall that have to do with comic books.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes. These are mostly prime time. I think there's a couple others because you got your Walking Dead that's coming back and everything for cable. But these are prime time TV stations that are actually running superhero.
You mean prime time and the WB?
Yeah, prime time and the WB, yes. Which there are two. But first we're going to get into NBC, who is a surprise kind of contender for this. They're producing Constantine.
Yes. Based off the Hellblazer saga.
Now, they say in the trailers, they say the original Hellblazer comics, which means we might not get as much as the new 52 Constantine as we'd like. But he really hasn't changed that much from
he's kind of a stubborn British bastard, so he's not going to change much regardless of who writes him.
Now, a lot of people will remember Constantine from the movie with Keanu Reeves, which is completely wrong.
Has nothing to do with the Hellblazer comics. Has nothing to do with the new 52.
Not a bad movie. I had no experience with
terrible.
Constantine, and I enjoyed it.
But, Keanu Reeves was playing the same role he plays in every movie.
I am Constantine, and I will defeat you, demons.
Yeah, I'm Neo, and I can defeat you, demons. Oh.
Robots.
Wait, wrong movie.
Robot demons. So they're producing it for NBC. What we've heard about it so far is not as good as we would like, but we're going to try it.
There are two trailers out right now for the general public. You've got your first trailer,
Which explains kind of who the character is.
Kind of introduces you to him, introduces you to some of the sub characters.
Mm-hmm.
Starts out, he checks himself into a mental hospital. Then you find out that there's some girl in the paint ward
That's possessed.
and he exercises her basically.
Yeah.
He doesn't put her on like a treadmill, but I mean, he gets a demon out of her.
Work that demon.
That's how he does it. He just
You have to sweat the demon out.
the demons out. Sweat those demons out of you. And so he does that, and then we find out that the other main character is a girl, and she's starting to see stuff. My suspicion is that's Zatanna from the comics.
Woo!
I don't know if she was actually in the Hellblazer series. I think so, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of our Hellblazer experiences from the New 52. So
Pretty much.
If you know something about Hellblazer before, again, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. Or you can tweet us at Acts of Geekery and facebook.com/Acts of Geekery as well.
I mean, it's pretty much all the same, just different sites.
Yep. So we know that. We got the first trailer. The second trailer goes into a little more in depth.
Yeah,
about
it kind of shows you, and I believe that they said that all that you see in the trailers is from the first episode. That's
Okay.
all first episode stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff to throw in the first episode, especially the little teaser that they put in there for the second trailer.
Yes, which is awesome. It's a half second, and if you don't catch it, go back and rewatch it. But it's the helmet that Naboo, Dr. Fate wears. I don't know what it's really called, but
The helmet of Naboo.
No, I
Naboo.
think it's something else. But anyways, it's cursed.
Yeah.
And it turns you into Dr. Fate.
Yep.
And he's holding it, and it's covered in dust, but it's like a half second quick shot, and then it goes right past it.
The thing I like about it is it looks pretty spot on for the comics.
Yeah, just like kind of like how they did.
Which is what Constantine looks like in the show. He looks pretty much like Constantine does in the comics.
Yeah, especially when he dons a trench coat and a cigarette. I wonder if they'll do the cigarette. Will they think they'll make him do like an e-cig or something
yeah.
to try to appeal to all the younger kids out there?
I think smoking is kind of part of Constantine's character because he knows it's killing him, and he knows that when he dies, he's going to hell, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a crap.
So next coming out, another surprise from Fox. Fox is doing a Batman prequel called Gotham. That's going to be centering around Commissioner Gordon before he was commissioner.
Oh, and you forgot to mention it'll only be on for one season before they cancel it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Fox. I just thought that was assumed. You're going to see the first episode. Apparently, you're going to see Crime Alley, and you're going to see Batman's
The
parents.
making of Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally how they're going to start. The wariness I have about this show is two things. One, if the characters that are in this are not are main characters in the Batman series, that means that Jim and the Gotham police suck when it comes to capturing criminals.
It's true. You gotta remember that Gotham is like New York. It is basically DC's version of New York.
Yeah.
It is so huge. There's so many people, millions of people live there, and they're just run ragged. They're thin. They don't have enough people.
Yeah.
So, from what I heard in the first, and I don't know if you were going to get to this. I'm sorry if I interrupt you,
No, go on.
but you get to meet Harvey Bullock,
Yay.
Detective Bullock, and him and Gordon don't like each other at first,
Really?
but then they learn to like each other. Yeah, kind of formulaic there, but not too bad.
Well, Fox is nothing if not sticking to the formula.
This is true. Although Days of Future Past came out of left field and it was really good.
Yeah. It was much needed, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, it was very.
Now,
very
the other
needed.
problem that I have with Gotham is if they get too far into the backstory of some of the characters that don't have backstory for a reason. For example, the Joker. He's the biggest example of a DC villain, and nobody knows his origin story. They've tried it. The last time they tried it was in the Michael Keaton movie, and it didn't work out too well.
This is true. Yeah. Supposedly you're going to see a glimpse of the Joker or something related to the Joker in every single episode. There's going to be an Easter egg. You're going to see, maybe like a clown mask or, something
playing
crazy
card.
like that. Yeah.
Jim Gordon's got an evidence, and it's got the Joker card or something like that.
Something they haven't been able to lock down and solve. But
Now,
the entire show is not going to be the Joker show. It is actually probably going to be the Penguin show.
well, there might be one episode where the Joker takes over and calls it the Joker show.
Maybe.
That would be great.
Breaks
Now,
the fourth
what
wall
I would
up.
like to see from this show is season 1, you've got your young kid, Bruce Wayne. You've got your new detective, Jim Gordon. And you've got them kind of building that repertoire. Season 2, I want them to go into Batman Year 1. I want them to jump ahead. Don't keep going with the same kid for 10 seasons before you get to the end and then show him finally in his outfit. You know, I think that they need to do a jump ahead and transition it into a Batman show.
I think maybe not season 2. Maybe season 3. Season 2 seems a little early. Season 1, you know, unless they've got like 25 episodes on the block ready to go, there's not going to be enough time to really get to know Gordon and all this stuff. One thing that I really liked is, since they are going to do all the backstories of a lot of these villains, you've got the Penguin, Riddler, Catwoman, Ivy. You're going to see all these little bits and pieces of all of them. One of them, the Riddler, Edward Nygma, is actually a forensic scientist that works for Gotham PD.
Oh, Green Lantern can just get him instead.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, he can fly in and say, hey, I want Edward Nygma or the Flash, whichever.
Maybe that's his origin story and why he became a villain. He picked the Flash instead of Edward Nygma.
And he's been holding that grudge forever.
Yep. There you go. All right, so that's Gotham coming out.
I'm excited for that one. Constantine, we haven't heard the greatest things about, but we'll reserve judgment for it.
Yep.
And we'll obviously review it as soon as we see the pilot episode.
Absolutely. Now, ABC has 2 that are coming out. They're bringing back S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right? Which picked up really good in the
If you
last half
haven't-
of the first season.
If you haven't seen the first season, I would recommend maybe starting halfway through the season.
Maybe not.
But
Then you don't really
if you
get to
can
know 'em too
power,
much.
if you can power through it really quickly, I would go back and watch the whole thing, because
Yes.
it slowly builds until you get to the plateau that is the big reveal from Captain America 2, and then it just like
Which
launches.
took about 8 to 10 episodes before I really enjoyed it, and it picked up the pace, and it wasn't a gadget of the week, you know, villain. We got to see a few teasers at the beginning, you know, and you'll see those once you see season 1, of course. But I'm excited for season 2 coming out, so that's good. Hopefully it's really good. I bet it'll be just fantastic. They started doing some awesome things at the end of season 1, which just made it one of the most anticipated days of the week. It was, oh my gosh, Tuesday's here. We're going to have to watch this, drop everything you're doing and watch S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and they had the best probably ending of the season ever. Not just the after scene credits with Coulson going into the storage unit with a nail, or did he have a marker? I think he had the marker.
He had a marker.
But the ending of the villain from season 1, which just we both groaned when we saw it, thinking, "Oh, here we go, more of the same from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D." But then we were totally blown away by what happened. So
Yeah, it was a very good, very well done, and they brought it out really well. In my
they're very Whedon-y, actually, I would say, which is something that it needs to be a little bit more of if it wants to continue. Like, Whedonisms are really popular right now.
I agree.
So, S.H.I.E.L.D. will go on until they get to their winter break, and then, of course, every show has a winter hiatus because that's what you do.
Apparently, that's the new thing.
Yeah.
They don't go through, which I'm okay with, because if your ratings drop terribly through starting in about November, you know, you got Thanksgiving holiday, all your Christmas
stuff.
shopping and Christmas, you know, holiday presents, or not holiday presents, but parties and things like that, and vacations. So yeah, you're obviously going to drop your ratings, and you really don't want your ratings to drop like that, so that you get funding for another season.
So what do you do? What do you do to keep the geeks interested?
You take a break, and you're going to tell me.
Yeah,
I'd
you
imagine.
introduce Peggy Carter, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., a mini-series that
So-
ABC is producing.
Explain to us that not too familiar with the Peggy Carter mythos or story.
If you've seen Captain America, you kind of know who Peggy Carter is, Captain America's dance partner.
The love interest, the English girl.
Well, after Captain America dies, it's not really a spoiler alert. I mean, he comes back. That's a spoiler alert.
We get Capsicle
Capsicle.
for 70 years.
Yes. She becomes the first agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., basically doing all this work in a world where it's men who are the super spies. and women are just kind of the secretaries. Well, there was a Marvel short, I think I think it was Iron Man 3 or Avengers, I think it was Iron Man 3, where Peggy Carter takes a call that was supposed to be to another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and she ends up going and taking out a Hydra cell all on her own. Well, she's going to get her own miniseries in the 50s as her running around doing cool S.H.I.E.L.D. shit.
Is it going to be the same?
I broke first. I swore first. Sorry about that, everybody.
That's okay. We've been, yeah. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same actress as it was in Captain America.
I believe so. I think that's what they said.
I hope so, because I really liked her as an actress.
So CW has 2 series that are coming out, and they're what we're going to talk about next. One is Arrow. We've seen Arrow 2 seasons now. Really good. They're promising.
Well, the first season was decent.
Yeah.
If anyone sat down and watched a couple episodes and wasn't really too happy with it, stick with it. Just like S.H.I.E.L.D., it picks up and it gets better. And season 2 was fantastic. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and it was one of the best shows on TV.
Mm-hmm. And it's so much more fun with a friend.
Yes, yes.
Just sit there and make fun of it.
Sit down and make fun of it, or crack jokes, or discuss it.
Season 3, they've been talking about some of the characters they want to introduce. They've said that they want to bring in Nightwing, which they've already referenced Bloodhaven twice, which is where Nightwing goes to become a cop. So they can introduce a Dick Grayson Nightwing story if he goes to Bloodhaven, which would be cool.
That I did not pick up.
Yeah.
At all. I'm glad you pointed that out, because it totally just blew right past me.
There's so many little subtle hints in Arrow for other properties. They also said that they actually do want to bring in Harley Quinn for season 3. We
Part of the Suicide Squad.
We saw a little glimpse of her.
We heard her voice. Yep. We heard the Mr.
J, which I was impressed with. Whoever was doing it.
Very good. Yes. Very good. And I looked her up from the credits and stuff, and the girl they got to do that looks just like Harley Quinn.
Perfect.
All you gotta do is put her in pigtails and the right costume, and she's Harley Quinn.
A little bit of white makeup. And then also coming to the CW is the Arrow spinoff. The one I think we're most excited for, actually.
The Flash.
Yep.
In Arrow, there were 2 episodes that introduced character Barry Allen. He is a forensic scientist.
Young forensic scientist.
Yes.
Working with Edward Nygma.
Yeah, from Coast City?
Yes. Coast City.
From Coast City. And
or is it Keystone?
I think it might be Keystone. They're like the twin gems, Keystone and Starling.
Keystone, Starling, and then Coast City is, I think, Green Lantern.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
Yeah. So he comes from that city. He comes in to help. He helps stop or find out about Solomon Grundy, actually, which is the introduction for that character. But at the end, he goes back to Keystone City, and he is in his lab, and they're just about to power up the particle accelerator that Star Labs.
Now,
another name drop.
Before this, they had a little glimpse. He was standing in front of a bunch of chemicals, and he said, well, that looks unsafe. And then there was a lightning flash behind him, and he turned around. And we all thought, oh, look, they did that little jab. And then at the end of the Barry Allen thing, he goes back to Star Labs, and their particle accelerator that they've been advertising for like half of season 2 of Arrow.
Yep, in the news, all over, like in the background, in the newspaper articles of the guy sitting on the street reading it.
Yeah. Well, that explodes and sends a lightning bolt into Barry Allen, knocking him back into a bunch of chemicals and giving him his powers.
I'm
putting
so
him
glad.
into a coma.
Yes, they put him in a coma. I'm so glad they stuck to the comic book origins. It sounds dumb. Lightning hits chemicals. But you know what? It's really, out of all the origins, it's not that bad. I mean, you get splashed with a bunch of chemicals and the lightning electrifies them and changes their properties. Okay, I mean, I can get along with that.
I have a huge spoiler about the Flash's origin.
Okay.
If you don't want to listen to this, skip probably 15 seconds ahead. Okay, here we go. The lightning bolt that hits the Flash is the Flash traveling back in time. And if you look at the trailer, you can clearly see, just for a quick second,
a little red blur.
Yep,
yes.
The blur of the Flash, which
that
is really cool. Like, that's even more impressive for doing an origin story, is to have it that close.
All right. Spoiler over.
Yep.
Although it's in the trailer, it's not really that big of a spoiler.
Well,
but
no, it still is, because
I guess it kind of is.
It's fast, Scott.
That's true.
Like, what is the theme? Yeah, what's the theme here?
The theme is flashing.
Yes.
right? Right?
Yeah,
They walk around
that's
with
his
trench coats.
superpower, and he
Keystone City is nothing but people in trench coats.
so everybody's the Flash.
Everyone is everyone flashes, but there is only one, the Flash.
He does it quicker than everybody else.
Or he just, pulls that much attention.
Now,
Another bit of news on that you may not have heard today. There was actually a leak of the pilot episode.
oh really?
It is out on the internet. We're not going to tell you how to find it. That is all up to you.
Yeah, we're not advertising or advocating piracy here.
Right.
Yar.
We like pirates, but
Yeah.
but
They
it got
help
leaked.
against global warming, don't they?
Yes, the more pirates, the less global warming. Got it. So it got leaked, and it's on all of your favorite illegal downloading sites.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, we may have a way to review this then.
It's possible. We have to decide whether or not we want to.
Yeah.
However, even if we do, and even if you do, our listeners, we still recommend you watch the pilot episode when it comes out, because that gives it more ratings. It gives it more popularity. We want it to do good. Even if you've already seen it, rewatch it in high def.
Yep.
Because the version that came out apparently is not high def. But there's been a lot of tweets about it and a lot of stuff that people are loving it. They say it's great. They say it beat all their expectations.
Here's
which
the thing.
I'm excited for.
If enough people watch this online, maybe the CW will go, okay, well, we're putting it out right now as the pilot, so everybody can watch it, and then they come out and say we're jumping right in with episode 2. We don't have to watch the pilot episode like you do with every other TV series. That would be an amazing jump, I think, in their ratings and everything.
They still need to do the pilot episode, though.
I think putting it on streaming might be enough.
Then no, I think they need to do it. I this is one thing I completely disagree with on this point with you. They need to do the pilot. They need to introduce everyone. They have an Arrow, but not everyone has watched Arrow. So people are going to pick this up from the beginning, and they're not going to be like, oh, wait, where did he get the costume? How fast can he really go? Yeah, exactly. Who's that? What is it?
Why is he taking off his trench coat?
Yeah, exactly. Why is he flashing everyone? Well, he's the Flash, of course.
Awesome. Now, for those of you who don't like television or network television,
I have a real funny story, just as a side note for the Flash. I heard about this from a friend. He said, it got leaked. Did you hear about it? No. So I went and looked it up, of course, and sure enough, found all these different, articles about, hey, it got leaked, and you can find it, but we're not going to tell you how. And I asked him if he'd watched it yet, and he said no. And then watched it, and he said, I'm bummed out. And I said, well, why are you bummed out, man? It's a Flash. It's going to be awesome. It's supposed to be great. And he goes, it's not played by Adam West. He says, I think
never played the Flash.
That's what I said. He goes, well, he should. He should play every superhero.
At least once.
And I totally agree. I think that they should maybe make a parody Justice League where he plays every single character in
Come,
there.
old chum, Darkseid is attacking again. Now, here's what I'll say too. For those of you who are really considering seeing the Flash pilot, you might want to hold off. You don't want to be disappointed. You kind of want to wait and experience with everybody else. That's what I thought you were going to say when he said he's disappointed.
It's 3 months away though, so if you watched it now, and 3 months from now, you might be like, man, I don't really remember what happened.
That would be fine too.
I can rewatch it, and it'll be in all of its high def glory.
Now, once again, for those of you who don't like regular network TV,
you have something against it. You don't like the corporation. You don't like how Fox is going to cancel Gotham after one season.
well, then maybe streaming is the way to go. A lot of people are getting their TV shows from Netflix, and Netflix has a lot of original series out for themselves. House of Cards is great, from what you told me.
It's fantastic. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, burn through it in a weekend, and you'll love it.
Orange is the New Black is their other
It's
series.
good. I'm working through season 2, and I'm really liking it right now.
Now
They've had a couple of kids series. I haven't watched them personally, but they're full-blown Netflix kids series, and they get good reviews.
Good.
So, and they're growing. Netflix is just growing.
Kind of knocking it out of the park.
Exactly. It is expanding its budget, and it's doing more and more and more.
Yep.
And it's just going to keep getting bigger.
For example, they're bringing in not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 Netflix Marvel TV shows. And these are coming out kind of as a year-by-year basis.
In 2015's first one.
Yep. Daredevil.
Much needed.
Yep,
We all remember the movie.
He's back.
We
He's
don't
back
want
in
to,
Disney's
but we all
hands now.
remember it.
Which we'll get to Daredevil in a moment because we have a lot of like casting news for
Okay.
those of you who are interested. Then the next one they're going to come out, I think it's Luke Cage as Power Man, which for everybody who wants their black superhero, you got
There you go.
Yep, you got your black superhero. He's kind of the best there is.
He's a street level. Is he B or C list? He's one of those two.
A lot of Marvel heroes are C-list.
Yeah. They kind of skip over the B sometimes.
And then after him is the other half of the original Heroes for Hire team, Iron Fist. Now, Iron Fist is a street-level kung fu master with magical abilities, kind of. Like chi abilities.
Yes, he can kind of channel his chi, make his punches and his kicks incredibly tough, or do a lot of damage, or maybe even light on fire.
So far, you've got a legal drama superhero show in Daredevil.
Yep.
You've got your street-level gang war caught in the middle of it with Power Man. You've got your full-on kung fu movie, or kung fu TV show with Iron Fist. What are we missing? Why, of course, a spy/private detective thriller in the form of AKA Jessica Jones. The graphic novel is based on is known as Alias, not the Alias that you know from
TV
way back
years ago
with Jennifer Garner, I think.
Yes, Jennifer Garner.
And
Bad Elektra.
The reason, Bad Elektra.
Bad Elektra.
The reason why they're calling it AKA Jessica Jones is because
They couldn't get the rights
they couldn't get
to
the
Elektra.
No, Alias.
To Alias, right. Yeah.
I really don't care if they don't have the rights
That's
to
true.
Elektra.
We don't really care.
Now, for those of you who are wondering about the plot line for Alias, I'm not going to tell you much, mostly because I haven't read it all the way through, or I haven't read it at all. But what I've heard is that, AKA Jessica Jones is a private detective who used to be a superhero. She quit being a superhero after a villain called the Purple Man, who has the power to control anybody's minds that he's near. Basically took her over and did a lot of bad stuff to her. And then at the end made her fight the Avengers, which we're probably not going to see in this TV show.
Probably not.
But after that, she quit being a superhero and started being a private detective. So we might see, we could see a lot of mystery from there leading up to their miniseries that they're going to do called The Defenders, which is going to have Daredevil, Power Man, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones in it.
Daredevils is like Defenders is just like a low class Avengers, basically.
Or a very high class Avengers if you want to go the cosmic route. Because there's been two Defenders. There's kind of the Heroes for Hire side, which is
kind of what we're getting with Netflix.
Yep. And then the other side is your Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, Hulk, Namor, cosmic level threat thing.
Sure.
But I think this version of the Defenders that we're getting is going to be a lot better. So let's get into some news, some casting news about Daredevil.
Real quick.
Okay.
There's also another rumor coming out for another Netflix series that you'll be excited about, and I'm sure others will. It's called Journey into Mystery.
Oh.
If you haven't heard of it, that's the comic that introduced Thor. It is.
I think at least two other heroes.
I think Doctor Strange might have been introduced by it. I could be wrong. I know he's at least been in it a bunch of times, but Journey into Mystery is like the paranormal, the magic comic out there, and it was introduced in I think the 50s or the 60s. But that's another rumor, but it's only a very slight rumor. There's not a lot of backing to it, so take everything we say about it with a grain of salt. However, it introduced a bunch of characters in the Marvel universe, a couple big and a lot of small. One of the characters that they introduced, of course, was Thor. But the great thing is here's a TV series that is set in the Marvel universe that is going to start creating characters, not just doing cameos, which is kind of what S.H.I.E.L.D. does right now. They got Coulson, they get Nick Fury in.
They talk about every single one of the Avengers.
They talk about the Avengers. They do little drops, but there's not really too many new superheroes. There's a lot of like S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that get introduced, but let's face it. They're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. They're kind of the red shirts of the Marvel world.
Yeah.
They're really expendable.
Yep. So, really quick, some characters that have been introduced with Journey into Mystery. Besides Thor, Loki was first introduced there.
Awesome.
Of course. Radioactive Man, Not the Simpsons. Look out, radioactive man.
Up and at them.
But the Chinese scientist who ends up becoming irradiated. The Enchantress and the Executioner were both formed in
Other
Journey
Thor
of the Mystery.
characters.
The Absorbing Man, which is a notorious Hulk villain.
Yes, he can touch any kind of material and turn his body into it.
The Destroyer, which we've already seen in Marvel movies.
Yep.
And Hercules, the Greek Marvel hero, was introduced in Journey into Mystery. And it looks like
Hercules has been on the Avengers a few times. I think he was on the Defenders at one point. He's been pretty big. He played a pretty big role in World War Hulk, the comic series. He played a big role in that. So that's cool. Maybe they'll introduce him.
there was a series involving, not introducing, but involving Shang-Chi, the Kung Fu master.
Okay. Which
and Black
which could
Widow.
also tie into Kung Fu or Kung Fu Fist, whatever his name is.
Iron
Fist. I
Kung
was thinking.
Fu- Kung
I'm
Fu
sorry, I was
Fist.
thinking Kung Fu Panda. I guess they could tie those two together.
yeah.
Someone out there write a fan fiction. I'll read it.
Oh, I don't think I want to read
Sure.
a fanfic between Iron Fist and Kung Fu Panda.
Well, they'll be fighting. They're not going to be doing anything
Oh,
else.
okay.
Not like other
No
fan
iron
fictions.
fisting.
No, none of that.
And so that was Shang-Chi and Black Widow together,
Fantastic.
as well as a couple issues with Hannibal King, which is a vampire. Now, the great thing about Journey into Mystery is we can reintroduce Blade into the Marvel Universe with this. I believe Disney barely got the rights back.
Probably needed. I mean, let's face it, the movies are a long time ago, and
Throwing
weren't the
vampires,
greatest.
throwing vampires into the Marvel movie kind of mythos would be great.
you got to cash in on that vampire ticket right now while you
Goodness.
can, while they're big. Even though they're not as big as they used to be.
So, going back to Daredevil, we've got 4 characters that have been introduced and casted. So
Okay.
far. Cast.
I have not seen these, so this is all new to me.
All right.
It's all new to me.
So Daredevil himself, Matt Murdock, the blind lawyer, is going to be played by Charlie Cox
Okay.
of Stardust fame. He's the
All
main
right,
character,
right.
Tristan. Something. Tristan is old.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, that's a different movie. Different movie. He did actually a pretty good part in Stardust, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio, who you may remember as Edgar from Men in Black.
He's wearing a Edgar suit.
Water.
He's
playing-
Who's he playing?
Wilson Fisk.
Oh,
Marvel never says he's playing the Kingpin because it's notorious that nobody knows that Wilson Fisk is the Kingpin except for the audience. So it's it might be this little tongue-in-cheek Marvel thing, like, hey,
if
this
I'm
guy's
if
playing.
I'm thinking correctly, and someone's probably already done this. He looks. There's a scene in one of the movies where he's sitting in the back of a limo and he's bald. And I can't remember the movie, but he looks just like the Kingpin. All he needs is the white suit and purple ascot, and he is the Kingpin.
And everybody's biggest complaint is that he's not bald. And it's like, that is changeable.
He probably will either wear a bald cap or he will go full bald for the movie, depending
Which
on.
would be, either way would be great.
Yes.
Now, Rosario Dawson, which she's kind of more of an indie actress, but you may know her from Sin City as Gale.
Oh, the leader of all
leader
the,
of the-
prostitutes
Yeah.
town or whatever they're called.
Poor town. She's
Orville.
playing an unknown character that is only described as somebody who helps Daredevil become who he is. So probably one of his girlfriends that bites the bullet.
Probably, because everyone that dates Matt Murdock dies.
I was actually reading about this next character, and it was talking about a secretary that both this next character and Matt Murdock liked.
Okay.
And her, like, the only other thing they said about her was later she met a tragic end, and I'm like, well, of course, Matt Murdock likes her. So this other character, though, is Foggy Nelson, which is Matt Murdock's, like, friend attorney.
Okay.
In the Daredevil movie, he was played by Jon Favreau as kind of this comedic naysayer that was going on in the movie.
Okay.
And in this one, he's being played by Eldon Henson, which you may not know him.
Don't
from
recognize
much.
the name.
He's going to be in a couple of the Hunger Games movies,
Okay. Do you know whom?
Pollock or something like that. I
Okay.
don't know. And then, but apparently he's been in all 3 Mighty Ducks movies as a character. I can't remember the exact character. We'll bring him up here and we'll see. But he's going to be Foggy Nelson, and he looks pretty much like the part. So, Eldon Yeah. Oh, he's in the Butterfly Effect too.
Okay. Yep. I know exactly who it is.
Yeah. So he's kind of got that little bit of a of the foggy look to him, and now in the movie he was a comedic character there for comedic effect. However, we think in the he's in Idle Hands, which is I think like it's a parody on the Eye movie where the lady gets the eye of the serial killer and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, that is the movie. Sorry, it's she gets the hand or the eye. I don't know. Anyway,
And it does things and makes her do. Isn't it Jessica Alba in that one?
Yeah, it's Jessica Alba.
Yeah, she gets
Yeah.
like a new eye, and it makes her see things, and then it makes her kill people. I mean, my eyeball doesn't really control what I do, but okay. I mean, whatever. Suspend disbelief for
Yep,
the movie.
exactly.
Got it.
So I hope that they go a more serious partner route rather than just comedic effect, because I think that Foggy can make a good side character in his own right and elongate the series a little bit.
Okay.
So that's what I know about Daredevil.
Pretty good. Pretty
Yep.
good news.
I haven't heard anything about the other ones because they're focusing on the one right now to see how it does.
2015's Daredevil.
Yep.
2016's gonna be on Power Man. 2017's gonna be Iron Fist. 2018's gonna be AKA Jessica Jones. So they're gonna do this one after another, and then maybe Journey into Mystery after that, or in between. I don't know.
I don't know if it'll be a year apart once it starts taking off. Like
Probably
if it really
not.
takes off,
If it,
they'll be
if they get
like,
a lot
oh,
of
Iron Man and
views.
Power Fist in the same year,
Yeah.
and then AKA Jessica Jones.
Which
and
I kind of agree they need to do Iron Man and Power Fist in the same year.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that they're always teamed up in the comics anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So having them come out, 6 months apart would be good.
Yep, Heroes for Hire, baby.
Yep, exactly.
Woo!
So
All right. Is there anything else? I think that covers. Oh, there is one other geek show that I don't know any information about, a comic book primetime show. I think coming to the CW called iZombie. I haven't seen any trailers for it. I haven't done any research on the comic book it's based on, but it's also coming, and it just seems like another zombie flick.
okay. The only other things I saw today or this week, we've got our new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Trailer number 2 that comes out. That kind of you hear all
We
their
should
voices.
do a segment called Trailers where we just talk about trailers.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
All right.
So TMNT trailer's out. We both watched it. I was a little leery of the voices at first.
I didn't
but
mind them.
they kind of grew on me at the end of it. It doesn't look as Michael Bay-ish as everything else.
Still kind of
As I said, as
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
But
That could
it
all
looks
just be the people going, man, we really need to cut out all the Michael Bay to make people go to this
pretty
movie.
much less explosions and more story.
Shredder looks pretty cool.
Shredder does look pretty cool. They've got him in kind of like a suit of armor.
Oh,
Kind of like the silver.
Like,
basically, he's a silver samurai.
yeah.
That's what he is. But
You've seen it all before, folks.
yes, you've seen it all already.
Just watch Wolverine and put up 4 turtles where Wolverine is, and you've got your Ninja Turtle movie.
Every time Wolverine comes on screen, it's a different turtle.
Yep.
Or just put a bandana over his eyes, whatever color you feel like, whatever your favorite turtle is. If it's red, blue, purple.
Somebody please make a
orange.
fan trailer where he's just got one of the 4 bandanas over
And it
his eye-
switches every
over-
time it
yep.
goes back to his face. It's got a different one.
Oh, this is
Although
Leonardo.
He would be red. I mean, let's face it, he would be Raphael.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anyone.
Yep.
The other was the Sin City 2 trailer.
There's actually another one that we haven't seen yet. There's a teaser trailer out for. This is kind of geek related, I guess. Mockingjay Part 1 for the Hunger Games.
I heard about this. I have not watched it yet.
Yep. I was
so
gonna
I'll
have to watch it
have to
before,
watch it.
but,
Maybe mention it next
yeah.
time. But the Sin City 2, and not just the trailer that's already out there. This is the second trailer they've released for A Dame to Kill For, and it looks fantastic.
It gives you a lot more of a
Storyline, a little bit more of the plot.
Yep.
I love
seems
the
a little bit
visuals in
more
it.
coherent
Yes.
than the last movie. Last movie was really individual stories about these characters introduced, and now looking back, it looks like they were introducing them for a second movie.
Yes. Yeah, they were kind of leading up to it. Sin City is Frank Miller's baby.
Yep.
He's the one that wrote it in comics, and they're adapting it to movie format. I personally loved the first Sin City.
I did too.
I thought it was great.
I had
it was different.
I had it on my Zune back when Zunes were a thing.
Ooh,
I had it
a
just,
Zune.
yeah, a little tiny
rebel,
movie.
you?
It was the Zune, and I would watch the Jessica Alba scene at night.
Wow, I don't think we needed to know that.
And then also the first 5 minutes of Serenity. I had the whole movie, but I would just watch that opening scene where it's the panning shot through the ship.
Great.
I think I know what we're doing this weekend is watching Serenity.
Watching Serenity again. Okay, we'll skip our regular movie that we go to.
Yeah, whatever.
So it looked really good. What really jumped out to me is all the whites are a lot brighter than they were in the first movie.
Yep.
There's a scene where they're sitting at a poker table, and it's the evil, corrupt senator guy, and he's at his poker table, and there's all these chips in front of him. But because of the little white marks on the chips, and they're all random, it looks like a city, like skyline, like a view of the city with lights on.
And he waves his hands in front of it and says, "Who wants to play?" And
and kind of like he lords over the city, and it was really well done.
Sin City had a lot of those cool visuals. And I think they're going to really pull out a good second follow-up to it. That's not the same format from the first one. So we might not see a full Sin City. We might see a Sin City harder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. And then, like I said, we'll get back to you on the Mockingjay one. But now I think it's time that we go into our picks of the week.
All right. Picks of the week is just going to be something that we've geeked out about for either a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, a month, if it's been that good. And we're just going to kind of share a little bit with you. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Okay, so hopefully you're all listening to this before June 30th because the Steam Summer Sale is on. And that means that from June 19th to June 30th, which when we're recording, it is June 26th. So you still got 4 days to go out there and get all the games you want.
Buy them all. Buy them all.
75% off. I have been really
Not every
lacking.
Game, most games.
Yes. I have been really lacking in my games. I bought Skyrim for $5. You can get like the complete edition with all the downloads for 10. I may have bought the download ones. Did I buy the download? I got all of the Marvel games for $5 a piece. Marvel Lego Superheroes, Marvel Batman 2, Marvel Star Wars, or not Marvel. I'm saying Marvel Batman, Marvel
Lego.
Lego. Yeah.
Lego Star Wars, Lego Batman,
Lego
Marvel,
Lord of the Rings,
superheroes,
Lego Hobbit. Yep. I got them all for $5 a piece. They have their flash sales, which are games that are like $2-3. I got Castle Crashers.
Usually more indie titles, you know.
Castle Crashers, Dungeon Defenders. The one that I really recommend for any of my friends listening, please go get Worms Revolution. It's like $3, and it is going to be so much fun when we get like 4 or 5 people playing together.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, you're worms and you fire rockets and other lethal weapons at each other and try to knock each other off an island.
I named all my worms after, I think, mostly dead Game of Thrones characters.
You should have made sure they were all dead.
Yeah, I think there's one.
And one of them should be the Butcher's Boy.
The Butcher's Boy.
No one ever remembers his name, but it should be the Butcher's Boy.
I'm going to have to change Tyrion.
Yep, because he's not dead yet.
No. Spoilers, Scott. Like, seriously.
I don't know if he's going to die at all. I'm just saying, as of right now, he's not dead on the show.
Yeah. So if you really have a little bit, like, you don't even have to have a lot of spending cash. Go have $10. I mean, I of course spent way too much on this summer sale, and I haven't even checked the deals for today. But if you have a little bit of cash, go buy a couple of these $5 games.
We picked up Borderlands 2 as well.
$5. Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider for $5.
Yeah. Batman Arkham Origins was only $7.50.
$7.50.
And I picked that up the other day too.
There's a lot of good games. I think Warlock. I always pimp Warlock whenever I get the chance because I think it's one of the best turn-based strategy games. I think they're on for about $5. You want to listen to the ones for today?
Sure.
We've got Train Simulator 2014 for $8, which whatever. Okay. Europa Universalis 4, which is probably another
space game or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's Roman Empire.
Oh, okay.
Left 4 Dead 2 for $5.
Good game.
Banished, which is a really good, like, it's kind of like a SimCity, but you build a village. Assassin's Creed Black Flag for $20. This is like the new game. That is a great deal.
Half off. It's normally like $40 or $50.
Rome Total War 2 or Total War Rome 2 for like, what was it? Yeah, $20. Dishonored Civilization 5, which I got. Wait.
And now you got another one to buy.
Well, no, I already bought that one, but I may have bought it when it was only slightly on sale. So I may have bought it more expensive because I was getting eager. Dishonored, I hear, is a really good game. Resident Evil 4.
It sounds like a good lineup, and those last for like 8 to 10 hours, and then they might go back up in price. But
Well, everything that they put on sale is going to be on sale until the 30th. Oh, look at that. Goat Simulator for $5.
awesome.
I mean, everybody loves that game. So yeah. What about you, Scott? What do you got for today?
My pick of the week is the comic book series Saga by Brian K. Vaughan.
Ooh.
You may recognize him. He's a writer. He has written Why the Last Man, which is also another fantastic
Great comic.
Also, one of my picks to start people into comics. If they're not fans, or they don't really like comics, never read one, that's a really good one to start them on.
That one's a little bit more rated R. At points,
he's also done.
By the way, also going to be a TV series one of these days.
I'm excited for that as well. Yep. Also done Ex Machina. It's another one, lesser known, still pretty good. But in this case, Saga. I picked up a third volume. It just got released about 2 months ago.
Which means I'll read it in about a week.
And probably. And I couldn't put it down. I picked it up and read through the whole thing in probably like 40 minutes. I was burning through it. And it's great. It is fantastic. It is a technological and magic mix.
Like I said earlier,
it is hard to explain, but it is great. It is great. There are elements for everyone in it. You've got, a couple more adult themes, but don't let that throw you off, because there are a lot of fantastic storylines, and the characters are great. You pretty much fall in love with them, and then something might happen to them, and you're sad, and so on and so forth.
Seriously, don't spoil that for me.
That's not a spoiler, trust me. Not at least for this book. But that's my pick of the week. I love Saga. I can't recommend it enough. People ask me, like, what am I currently reading? And that's one of them on the list. I don't get it in the monthlies, but I do get it when it comes out and collected, and it is great. It's fantastic. Go support Brian K. Vaughan. Get his Saga so that we can get more from him.
Yep.
The last thing I want to bring up, and this will kind of break our little pick of the week, but it's kind of a tandem pick of the week. We both are having fun with this. We've been playing a game called Space Engineers.
First episode, and you're already ruining the format.
I'm ruining it. Yes, I ruined it. It's okay.
All right.
You can blame. I'm the ruiner.
I will have to agree with you. Space Engineers is an amazing game. If you like Minecraft, but you're not really a big fan of the graphics, and
the medieval setting.
Yeah, if you wanted it in space, this is Minecraft in space.
Yes, it's an open sandbox. It's not an open world because there's not much world. It's pretty much just a bunch of asteroids you build stuff around.
Yep,
but you can build ships. You can put weapons on them. You can go fight each other. You can mine. You can sit and mine asteroids all day long if that's all you want to do. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. It's fun to go in and just build all kinds of different stuff. Yep. You've got your creative mode where you just build it, and then you got your survival mode.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes, pretty much. No aliens though. It is a technical alpha right now. They call it early release on Steam. It's about $20, but it's a technical alpha. It's not fully polished, but for a game that's not fully polished, it is a pretty well done game. Yep. We rarely have any problems with it, and we've been geeking out over that and having fun with that.
Now, if you're interested in it, we are going to be developing a mini series on YouTube about Space Engineers, so be on the lookout for that.
And it'll be kind of like a let's play, and we can record some stuff, and you can hear us and hear all the crazy crap we do.
We won't crash into each other.
Yep.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah. Again, I'm Corey.
I'm Scott.
I almost said I was Scott.
That's okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to leave any kind of comments, suggestions, ask us questions, suggest topics, have any complaints about the show even, let us know. Shoot us an email at axofgeekery@gmail.com.
Again, ACTS, not AXE.
Yep. Facebook.com/axofgeekery. And our Twitter handle is @axofgeekery.
We also have a YouTube channel, right?
There's nothing on it at the moment, but we have one.
Hopefully, there'll be some on it too.
Maybe we'll probably upload the podcast to it as well.
I think we'll upload the podcast, and I think all of my other stuff from my other channel will end up making its way there. So if you want to see me recommend some other things or talk about superhero movies that need to happen, that might be something you're interested in. So you can check it out there maybe eventually.
Yep. And so, like I said, thanks for joining us. Come and like and subscribe and do everything that you would normally do on the interwebs. But we appreciate it. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything, please let us know.
We'll see you all next week with more great news topics.
Yep, and more random mumblings from us.
Yep. Random acts of geekery.
All right, everybody, keep geeking out.
See ya.